So we all know about the entertainment industry and why a lot of us don't really want to be a part of it because of what goes on behind closed doors in Hollywood and the elite, the white parties, and the huge sex trafficking scandals that be going on in Hollywood, or should I say Hollyweird, as I call it, which is pretty much the right term to use anytime you hear some weird stories about Hollywood and the celebrity status that be going on in the industry. It's no surprising to me that you don't really need to be sexy to appeal to a certain audiences, right? So at least some of these actors did not want to go that far, but most of them kind of did, even though they were probably forced to get naked to do certain scenes on camera, which really makes people uncomfortable. I mean, if I was given a position to act in a certain movie or a TV show, I will not get naked unless I have a fit bod, a six pack, muscles all over my body. Then I probably consider doing it. But I don't know how my family will feel about it, but it's not for me. So I would rather just pretty much stick to the things that made me famous in the first place. So 14 actors who said no to on-screen nudity and sex scenes out of respect for their partners, families, religion, and more. And this is one of the most important topics that a lot of us need to have, especially when we have kids of our own that want to get into the industry. We have to pretty much explain to them why it's a bad idea to do it. If you're going to do it, you want to do it right. Don't do it because you want to express your so-called sexuality when we all know it'll be a big negative impact for families and friends, you know. Let's just hop on to this article. So this one is about Samuel L. Jackson, the GOAT himself. Samuel L. Jackson has appeared in over 150 movies and has avoided showing full frontal nudity in all of them. He said if he had to, he'll probably ask for a dick double. This whole dick double word is kind of funny to me, you know. Maybe he's referring to somebody who has a BBC. If you know what I'm talking about, they'll probably show that on camera. But ain't no way Samuel was gonna end up doing that because it'll look stupid on him, in my opinion. So, shout out to him. At least he didn't do it. When Howard Stern asked if Samuel felt like his dick wasn't big enough, Samuel replied, "I don't know if it's fundamental enough." He says, "My you know what is so big. I don't know if my you know what is big enough to fill my aura." I don't know what that word means. If somebody can let me know, educate me, teach me something, let me know something. And we all know Megan Fox, Little Miss Hypocrite, because we all know she's pretty much Hollywood's biggest sex symbols in the history of the industry. We all know that she's basically famous for her roles in the Transformers movies, the Michael Bay ones, and let's just say for the most part, all of them are just dog shit at this point. So Megan Fox has turned down roles because they have graphic sex scenes that she wouldn't want her family to see. I don't want to say it's too late, but it's kind of is because you have kids now. So when their kids get into a certain age, they're going to look back and see their mother's nudity as if it's going to be awkward. So I hate to say this, but it's kind of too late. There are some good projects I've read that are with talented people, talented directors, But the things the women are required to do in it are things I can't have my sons ever know to see. Well, there's a part of me that wants to agree with her, but another part of me that's telling me, okay, she might be the biggest hypocrite here because she's done nudity before. I mean, she's walking around Transformers films, revealing outfits. She even tried to look sexy in the Michael Bay Transformers movies. And you said that you don't want your children to see you have naked or naked. Yeah, I'm not falling for it. She turned down an HBO role where she was supposed to play a sex worker and said those are things that are degrading to the women who's playing the character. Again, kind of hypocritical, but she's done some scenes that are pretty much considered naked. I'm not saying that it's confirmed, but I know what kind of roles she's played in the past. So, but I do respect her decision though for turning it down, because if you're playing a sex worker, which means you have to get butt naked and show literally everything besides your breasts and your butt, but you have to show certain types of no-nos in the regular entertainment scenes, where we all know that most celebrities that really had sex in scenes instead of pretending like they're having sex. But yeah, that's a video for another time, but you get the point. Payne Badley asked You creator Sarah Gamble for a few sex scenes in season 4 out of respect for his marriage. He explained that his desire to be 0, to go from 100 to 0, but was willing to compromise with the writers. And I've seen this show like I think 2018 or 2019. I think it was one of those years when the show came out on Lifetime, and I'm surprised that it was TV-14 that they got away with a lot of stuff, because the first episode literally just showed the girl coming home from her yoga class, and she was seen masturbating and stuff, and he pretty much became friends with her, wanting to do the dirty with her or something like that. That's pretty much what I know shows, whatever. But like I said, I'm surprised Lifetime got away with it, but it's obvious. But at the same time, you're doing it for a reason, to make money, to get paid. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if it were me, I'd turn it down, because if my co-star was willing to make fun of my penis sizes, then I wasn't going to do it, because most of us are pretty much insecure with our own bodies, just to please certain people. But I don't think that's happening. On a recent episode of his podcast, he explained, in every relationship, including my marriage, it is important to me. It's got to the point where I don't want to do that. He also added that because of the nature of the series, he knew 0 intimate scenes may not be possible. I signed this contract. I signed up for the show. I know what to do. I know what I did. You can't take this aspect out of the DNA of the concept. So, how much less can you make it? It was my question to them. And luckily, he didn't receive any pushback at all from producers. Sarah was really glad that I was that honest. She was sort of almost, I want to say, empowered. She had a really positive response. They came back with a phenomenal reduction. And you know what? If you somehow talk with producers and directors about certain scenes that you don't want to do, that you don't want to cross a certain line or certain boundaries, then it's pretty much obvious to me that you're doing something right. You know, especially if you're in the industry or whatever industry that you're in. You know, you don't want to piss those people off, but for some odd reason, it worked for him. And if it were me, I would have probably lost my job right on the spot because my refusal to do a sex scene with my co-star, especially if I'm married or if I'm in a committed relationship or I'm just started dating, because the last thing I want to do is mess up my career over something that I refuse to do. And if they blackball me in Hollywood, too bad. At least I spoke up for the truth. I spoke my truth. You know, I want people to know about what's going on in the industry so they don't have to make the same mistakes I made. So shout out to him for pretty much standing on business. Keira Knightley decided that she would no longer film new scenes for male directors after she became a mother in 2015. She explained, "I don't have an absolute ban, but I kind of do with men. It's partly vanity and also it's the male gaze." Or gas, that's how you say it. You know, honestly, I think I pretty much recognize this actress from somewhere, but I don't know. But honestly, to me, Hollywood, you're not allowed to say no. You have to say yes to everything. Like, they want you to be this yes person to commit to a certain role. If you're good at it, they'll probably let you keep that role. And if you don't want it, they'll probably replace you. Like how they do with every actor that played this, you know, that plays the same character in soap operas like Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, General Hospital, those trash TV shows, in my opinion. You know, but to me, I see where she's coming from, because there are a lot of horny men in the industry that want to see a good looking woman that has wanted to, you know, do it for the bag. And if she's hot, have her take it off, show it off, reveal it to the world. But if it gets to the point where it becomes too much for that individual is going to realize that it was not about her talents. It was all for their personal gain, just to fulfill their sexual desire, right? So that's pretty much where I'm getting all of this from. So at least she said no, that she chose a different way to continue the industry without getting naked. She added that she understands that sex sometimes drives the story along, but she would be more comfortable if someone else, like a body double, were filming a scene. Well, you can use somebody else because I'm too vain. And the body has had 2 children now. And I just rather not stand in front of a group of men naked. And once again, I'm glad that she stands on business, because if I have female directors telling me to get naked and I have a small you know what, I would say no, fire me, let me out. I would rather just play a different role than to get naked if I don't have that body type to, you know, to pattern to female fans. You know what I'm saying? To be the eye candy. But it's unfortunate that that's what happens in the entertainment industry. They want you to get naked. They want you to just, you know, crash out, you know, and when you have a right to say no, that you don't want to be a part of this mess, you know. And I'm just glad that she pretty much made a choice to have somebody else get naked while she's pretending to like do something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Neil McDonough refuses to kiss any woman other than his wife and won't film any sex scenes. He even lost a role on a soap opera because of it. And if you don't know who this person is, this is the actor that, you know, that got the most hated in Hollywood because he turned down the role because he refused to get naked or kiss any woman because that's just not in his nature. I mean, if you want to act in the entertainment industry, they're going to have you do all of those things that make you uncomfortable. But at the same time, if you want to make that money, you have no choice but to do it. So, yeah, this is how Hollywood blacklisted him because of how he came out and spoke the truth and exposed the industry. So I'm glad that someone like him did right. It was a horrible situation for me after that. I couldn't get a job because everybody thought I was this religion zealot. I am very religious. I put God and family first and me second. That's what I live by. It was hard for a few years. Then Band of Brothers producer Graham Yost called me and said, "Hey, I want you to be the bad guy on Justified." I knew that was my shot back at the title. I want to jump on this part where it says, I put God and family first before myself. That's what you're supposed to do as a Christian, right? You're supposed to put Jesus above everything in this world before you decided to put yourself first and your family second. You can't do that in life. And I'm kind of with him on this one because as a Christian myself, I've always put God first over my family second. You know what I'm saying? God and family always come first regardless. Just what I meant to say. So I respect him for that. And I kind of knew that Hollywood was not a big fan of Christians. They don't like Christians. They don't respect people like that. I mean, like them basically because they know that we don't stand on certain things that make us uncomfortable. And each time we say something about it and we come out about it, they just look at it as funny and make us feel like we're not that important. All because we have an opinion and spreading facts about what's going on in this world, and Hollywood wants to turn it into a cash grab, $1 million franchise without even studying the word of God. And I think that's what Neil did. He put his family and God first before himself. And I can't help but to respect him for that. Because like I said, as a Christian, I would have done the exact same thing. Honestly. Rebel Wilson specifically adds a strict no nudity clause in her contracts when she films comedies. And yeah, this is her when she was really, really heavy set years ago. And ever since she lost the weight, a lot of producers want her to get naked because she looked sexy, she looked beautiful, she looked hot. And that doesn't always have to be the case. You don't have to sexualize yourself just to entertain niggas everywhere. That's not usually how life works. And if I were to be honest, I would have done the exact same thing too if I lost a lot of weight. But I would have probably kept it cool, kept it PG because, number one, my image is pretty much about inspiring people but not sexualize myself just to entertain the wrong type of crowd. You know what I'm saying? That's what Hollywood and the industry wants, And I'm glad that she took a chance on that. Dancer from South Africa to be a new double. And they got her to do all this stuff. The movie's writer and star would go, "See, she looks good." I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't care what you say. When asked if she's considered appearing new in more serious role. She added, "You want to know that people behind the camera have certain sensibility and decency, and a lot of times in comedy, they're not those people." She's talking about the creeps, that just want to see her niggas so they can feel sexually satisfied, with themselves. So basically, that's just what's going on. And she's saying that she doesn't want to do it. If she don't want to do it, she don't want to do it. You can't make her. You can't force her. You know, this is their personal wish, like it or not. So I kind of respect her for not, getting naked just because you're in a romantic comedy, because that's literally what I see all the time. When others, when other celebrities do it, it's pretty much fine. But at the same time, you're smart enough to know that there are better and bigger opportunities for you out there in Hollywood that are way better than getting naked on camera just to make horny people happy. Anna Kendrick refuses to do nude scenes at all. She actually used a body double when her character had to appear naked in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. I heard about this story before, you know what I'm saying, and it really goes to show you that sometimes in life, when people want you to do something, you just know it's going to be a bad look on your character, on your part. And she's a good actress, but I don't think seeing her naked like that is going to make people go, "Oh my God, she's hot." No. They have to understand what the actor is feeling, the human is feeling about doing those type of scenes, and how it makes them feel. Just know that it's not going to work. So, yeah. She told the Telegraph, "I will not do that. I am not criticizing people who do new scenes, but I plan to keep doing what I am doing and hope it keeps going good." And that's all you can do, is just do what you do best to entertain and make people laugh and enjoy making people smile while doing other things and other roles, especially when certain people and certain directors in the industry that wants you to get naked. And as long as you say no, there's going to be a problem, because guess what? That's their problem, not yours. And you took a stance on that, and I'm glad you said no. Julia Roberts has been in films that require raunchy sex scenes, but in order for her to do the film, she insists that the scenes be toned down. Basically saying that all of the nudity, all of the sex scenes that they do in the industry, just to tone it down a bit so her character can look 10 times cooler, but different, And to be honest with you, I really feel like, to me, that she's known for a pretty girl, and I think I have a good feeling that there are some scenes that made you kind of horny a little bit. But we all have one of those type of scenes in regular movies that made us feel some type of way. But I wouldn't go as far as to get naked and go crazy and crash out about it. But you don't really need to do all of that, basically. So what she's basically saying is that when she does a certain scene, she doesn't have to get naked all the time. When asked if she do a new scene, she said, "It's not really what I do. So if you're going to ask me to do it, you have to expect it to be toned down. As a mom of 3, I feel like that." And I think that's the most important thing that a lot of people don't really understand about Hollywood is when you're a mother of 2 or maybe 3 kids, you're going to have to grow up and stop doing naked scenes, because you cannot last forever doing stuff like that. and that really goes to show you that in the industry, they'll have you do all of those things without realizing certain types of risk factors that'll come with it, especially if you're a parent. That means you have to slow down on certain things you do. Just like porn stars, when they have kids and the kids ended up getting older and they see what their parents do, and their parents tell them about getting tested every day after and before doing a sex scene raw. If you catch my drift. Allison Williams was the only main actor from Girls who didn't appear nude on scene. She explained that she didn't want her future kids to see her naked on screen and added, I just wanted to give Maureen almost all of myself, but there were things that felt like they should be mine and felt like they should always be mine. Basically, she's saying that if there's like a certain naked scene of her in movies and TV shows, which means that she's going to probably retain all of the rights to her scenes so her kids wouldn't want to see it and see their parents do the nasty on camera, whether it's for the mainstream or in adult film scenes. That's probably the last thing you want to do, is have your kids find out about your dirty secret and they're going to look at you differently because of it. So the best thing for you to do is just be 100% honest with them, because if you do that, I'm sure they'll probably either understand or probably not talk to you for a few days because of your career, right? Because like I said, as a parent, I don't even know if she's a mother or not. I'm not sure, but if she is, then good on her for pretty much standing on business. And if she's not a parent, then she's going to have to reconsider doing something different in Hollywood instead of getting naked all the time. Okay, so this is what she looks like. She a cutie. She even refused to sign a nudity waiver when she was asked to by HBO. She recalled, I said, well, I'm not going to sign it. And my agents were like, what? Just tell them I'm not going to sign it. And they were so stunned and so up against it time-wise that I think they were just like, all right, she'll change her mind. She'll get swept up in the vibe of the show. Whatever. Don't make her sign it. Now, I think they wanted her to sign it so they want to see her goods on camera so they can pretty much get horny. Like, that's called manipulation. And what I really hate about it is that they will force you to do a certain thing on camera as one thing of getting naked, but it's another thing to get mad at an actor or actress for turning down a bigger role in a TV show or a film just to get naked. For what? You're only doing that just to show off my goods and show off my body parts. That's literally the biggest reasons why, I believe that they got mad at her for not signing it, because they know what she's capable of and they know that she's a good, talented actress. But at the same time, this feels like manipulation. That is exactly what I'm getting the vibes from. And I'm glad that she turned it down. And if they get mad at her for it, too bad. Now, Sarah Jessica Parker is pretty much iconic. She is known for the Sex and the City franchise. But she had other roles in movies before she got her big fame in the series Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker does not appear in sex scenes where she has to be naked, and it's the only main Sex and the City actor that hasn't filmed nude. She even had a no nudity clause in her contracts. Another W. And like I said, you don't need to get naked or to do something that can spice up your career just because you're an adult. you're hot and sexy, you're a 304, fine, be that way. But if it gets to a point where you're going that far, you can't expect people to not give you criticisms because of how you live your life, especially if you're putting certain things out on the internet, which is causing people to judge you and criticize you. Then maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't be in the position that you are now. So I'm glad that Sarah pretty much stood on business and said, no, I don't want to get naked. It is what it is. She told the Hollywood Reporter, I don't have any judgment about anyone who chooses to do it. I think it's fantastic that people feel comfortable doing it. It's not kind of, you know, principle, position, or religious, or ideological, or whatever this part says on my part. So she's basically saying that it's not for her, and I'm glad that she stood on business for that. Get to this part. There is one of the biggest controversies surrounding the new Blade reboot, and 1 minute they got their stuff together, and the next there's some issues behind the scenes with the script, the cast, and the directors. So it's obvious to me that they're gonna probably cancel this reboot, and I want them to, because if you don't have your stuff together, what's the point of you even casting an actor in the first place? I'm just saying. Mahershala Ali revealed that he would have turned down a role in the circus case of Benjamin Button if director David Fincher hadn't agreed to rethink a sex scene between him and his co-star Taraji P. Henson. As a Muslim, he explained that he wanted the scene changed because he was just trying to hold a space of respect for his religion. I didn't even know that he was religious. I didn't even know that he was Muslim. You learn something new every day. He added that when his agent told him he with the part, he told her, if there's a sex scene, I can't do it. Fisher made the scene less graphic. And according to Mahershala, he and Taraji simply fall out of the frame after kissing. So basically saying that they pretty much did a kissing scene, but they refused to have a sex scene, and that's a good thing. Because basically, I don't know what's the point of doing a sex scene in movies and TV shows, where if you're telling a good story, you can do that, but at the end of the day, you don't need to go too far to go that far just to make it more meaningful. If you're, making a TV show, I sometimes wonder if they're really having sex on camera in Hollywood. And if not, then they're going to probably use their doubles just to get it on. Maybe some porn stars will do it, but not the actual actors. Now, Jessica Alba pretty much is known for some nudity that she had done before. And I think there was this one scene where the man was spanking her butt so hard she had bruises on it on screen. So she pretty much did some nudity based on that one clip. And who can remember Into the Blues, the movie, where her famous butt scene when her and then Paul Walker, rest in peace to him, were swimming underwater, and the cameraman had to zoom in on her butt cheek just to give the audience a show to remember. Oh, I remember those days. Jessica Alba also had a nudity clause written into her contracts Jessica Alba also had a nudity clause written into her contracts because she doesn't want her family to see her naked on screen. Sounds like Megan Fox. Too late for that. She says, I don't want my grandparents to see my boobs. That's it. It would be weird at Christmas. And really, if you look at the movies I have done, getting naked would have never elevate the picture. And like I said, Into the Blues, this one scene when she was kind of naked a little bit, showing her butt cheeks. I mean, she is Latina. I mean, of course, Latinas do have big booties and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Rachel Bilson doesn't like to film nude and almost lost out of her role in The Last Kiss because she refused to get naked. I think I recognize this actress from somewhere, but I see her face, but I don't remember her name. Maybe I had to check out some of her projects. She explained to Playboy movies can be sexy or sexual without showing things. It's almost a deal breaker. The movie was rated R, and they like to put in nudity whatever they can, but I'm pretty strong willed it and believe it can be avoided, and I agree with it 100%. Whether it was a martial arts movie or TV show, you can be sexy all you want, but don't take it too far or take it to the extreme where you have to get butt naked just to appeal to a male audience. And I agree with her on this part 100%. So, Blake Lively. I can't stand this person. I can't stand this actress. And there's a reason for it because she's currently trying to sue her co-star for sexual harassment when we all know that he's not the type of nigga that would do it. You know, just to be another amateur in a situation accusing a co-star of doing you know what, and if there's evidence, they're gonna probably televise it. They're gonna probably like expose it to the world. But if he really did do those things, he would have probably just admitted that he did. But time and time again, we all know that those are not true after all. Blake Lively explained that she finds nudity in movies distracting, which is part of the reason why she doesn't appear naked in any of her movies, and she shouldn't, and so does everybody else. But if they choose to do it, more power to them, but it ain't me. She added, when I see nudity in movies, I am always distracted by it. I know that if I am watching a scene and someone had their boobs out or their butt out, then that's all I'm looking at. I can't help it. I just don't think that's, you know what I'm saying, that will ever be right for me. I mean, she's just like everybody else. We don't have to like nudity and everything, or we could just avoid it or just ignore it. So, yeah. You know, in some capacity, most celebrities I've seen are a bit of hypocrites sometimes, but most of them are really truthful to what they say. Because in Samuel L. Jackson, I don't recall ever seeing him naked in certain scenes. Never. He's always been in top G, and I will always, respect him for that, right? At the end of the day, Hollywood is a mess. Always has and will be a mess because of their agenda and propaganda. So, like I said, if I was in the industry, I would have probably said no to that too. Because if I'm insecure within my own bodies, I wouldn't show up for the world. So, what are your thoughts on this? Link to the article will be down below.